Hey, what is up guys, it's Lewpac, back with another Albion Online video for you. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about 5 reasons you could be broke in Albion Online. I get a lot of questions about silver, both on YouTube and on my Twitch stream. And a lot of it is to do with money making. And making money in Albion isn't that difficult if you're dedicated and you study what you're doing and you focus on maybe 1 or 2 areas of the game. I have a bunch of silver making guides over on my money making playlist, which you can check out if you want, and loads of people will always give you advice on how to make silver. However, what we're talking about today is how you lose silver, because I'm guilty of some of these things as well, and often it's just laziness or maybe lack of knowledge that is why our silver balance goes down quicker than it should, and then we find ourselves broke again and needing to go back up. I do it all the time, and as I said, a couple of these are personal to me because it's the primary ways that I waste silver in the game. So without any further ado, let's get into 5 reasons you could be broke in Albion Online. Number 1 then is at the auction house, the quick sell and quick buy feature. Like me, maybe you grab a set in a hurry and you just buy the first thing available, or you want to ditch off your loot and you quick sell everything. Now, this is a quick, easy way to get your gear or to, get rid of all your loot and turn it into silver as fast as possible, but you could be missing out on a bunch of money here. So when it comes to selling your loot, what you should do is examine what the sell orders look like and what the buy orders look like. If there isn't a massive difference between the buy orders and the sell orders, quick selling is probably okay. However, if there is quite a big gap or it's a slower selling item, so there's not a decent buy order out there, you may lose a bunch of silver by quick selling. So obviously you don't want to be doing that. You may have to wait a day to get your silver, but you're going to get a lot more silver for your loot in the long run. So always use sell orders instead of quick sell, unless there is very little difference between the quick sell price and the sort of lowest few sell orders. When it comes to purchasing, sometimes you're going to have to buy what's on the market. You need gear now, and you're going to have to pay the price that people are asking. That's just the way it is. But always try and think long term. If you're running corrupted dungeons 7 days a week, and there's only 1 or 2 builds that you use for corrupteds, instead of buying your set every time you die, purchase 1 set and then place a buy order for 5 more sets. This will allow you to have 5 sets in storage, and because you use buy orders, you'll pay a lot less money and you'll save money overall. Again, you're spending less of your money to get the exact same thing. It's all about patience and knowing when to quick sell and quick buy and when to use sell and buy orders. Number 2 then is not using your focus. Assuming you have premium on your character, which you definitely should unless you're pretty much done with fame farming completely, everyone should be aiming to have premium on their character. So for the purpose of this video, we're going to assume you've got premium or you are aiming to get it as quick as possible. Now, you need to be using your focus on something. The more profitable the focus use, the better, but never ever let your focus hit 30k. If you are sat at the focus cap for 30k, you're not regenning any focus. All of this is just efficiency and money you could be getting. Loads of people are like, oh, I don't want to craft, I don't want to gather, so I can't use my focus. Do you know what I mean? And they have premium and the focus just sits at 30k. Doesn't matter, right? If you are a premium character and you have that focus out there, just pick up 1 single refining tree. Again, going back to point 1, buy order some raw resources and then use your focus to refine them. When your focus regens, refine some more. It's literally free money sat there for you to claim. And the amount of people that just sit there with maxed out focus and never use it really astonishes me in this game. Number 3 then is over gearing for IP caps. This is one that a lot of people are guilty of, and it's a lot of money can be wasted when doing this. There's a ton of content in Albion Online, corrupted dungeons, hellgates, GVGs, arena, stuff like that have IP caps. Usually it's a soft cap, And then anything above the soft IP cap gives you a reduced effect. So for example, in 5v5 Hellgates, anything above the IP cap gives you 50% effectiveness. So instead of gaining 100 IP, you gain 50. And because of these IP caps, overgearing massively for content is actually a waste of money. Obviously, you are gaining some IP under the soft cap system. However, as you go up in the tiers of gear and the rarity, each time you go up a step, the cost increases more and more. So like jumping from 7 to 7.1 or 7 to flat 8 isn't a huge cost jump, but then jumping to 8.1 is a bigger cost jump. Jumping to 8.2 is a much bigger cost jump. So you have to think to yourself, how much am I getting in terms of IP and how much is it costing me? Overgearing is often not even a factor in fights. Like a lot of corrupted dungeon fights, for example, or like 2v2 Hellgates, these are won and lost based on the matchup. Sure, sometimes they come right down to the wire, and that little bit of IP was the difference between winning or losing, but usually it's mechanics and matchup that factor heavily into the result of a fight. So don't spend extortionate amounts of money on gear that doesn't have a good effect because of IP caps. I see tons of people, like I've seen people running normal 5v5 Hellgates in like 8.1 excellent gear, and I'll gladly kill them and take it off them. That's free money for me, but they really shouldn't be wasting their money on it. Number 4 then is not value checking what you're doing or what items you have. This is more for like artifacts, stuff like that, like, and runes, souls and relics. Prime example would be tier 6 relics, right? A lot of people get tier 6 relics in dungeons and they're like, hey, I got a stack of tier 6 relics, I'm going to go sell them. But they're not value checking that selling the tier 6 is the best thing to do. If they were to check the majority of markets, they would find that you can transmute tier 6 relics into T8 for free. It takes 25 tier 6 relics to make a T8 relic, and you will get more money for that T8 relic than you would for 25 tier 6 relics. So they haven't checked the value of an item and they've just sold it, right? Again, similar thing with this is not valuing the hidden treasures or the luxury goods that you loot from chests and loot from hidden caches. Because if you sell them in the incorrect city, you're selling them to player buy orders and you're going to be getting less than the value. If you stockpile them and then make the transport run to the other royal city, you'll be getting full value for the items. You know, we're talking for the 25k luxury goods, people often buy them at like 21. So if you sell 100 of these, you're missing out on like 400k if you quick sell instead of moving to the next city. Just stockpile them over time, and when you've got enough to fill your biggest transport animal, then go and make the trade run. It's well worth it in the long run. And quick selling, again, this links back to point number 1. Quick selling this stuff really isn't doing you any favors. So always double check that you're making the best effect of what you've got. Also, things like artifacts and stuff, they may have an inherent value because of changes in the meta. If you have a bunch of artifacts you've got from dungeons, go and check the patch notes. You know, is the artifact that this makes getting buffed? Is it getting nerfed? Should you sell now? Should you save it because it's going to get a big buff in the future? Things like that are maybe advanced strategies, I suppose, but definitely things you should consider before you just sell everything blindly on the auction house. And on to the final money draining reason you could be broke, and that is greed for fame. So many people I see now, their default go-to is the biggest satchel of insight they can get, auto respec on, and fame farm. Sometimes that isn't right. You know, that is a very, very quick way to drain your silver. Yes, you will generate a lot of fame credits. You know, yes, you may level things up quickly, but you'll be paying silver for the cost. If you're flat broke and struggling for premium, you know, if you're trying to get a bankroll up and it never seems to get there, stop grinding fame credits. Stop, you know, draining yourself with these satchels and with auto respec. A high level HE will cost me 2 million silver in fame credits now if I use an 8.3 satchel, and that is per run. It's absolutely insane. And the thing is once you have a bankroll up later on, you can always buy tomes. You can always get that fame back once you're rich, because you can buy tomes whenever you want. Sure, a satchel is slightly more efficient, or a respec is slightly more efficient, but if you need money and you're constantly worried about going broke, then stop worrying about the fame. Focus on generating the money for your account before you worry about grinding everything in the game. You know, maybe you need to spec a weapon up very fast, in which case, sure, put on the satchel, put on auto respec, and get that weapon up as soon as possible. But once your main weapon is done and you're just grinding other things that you fancy losing, don't waste all your silver grinding them as quick as possible. Make sure you keep a healthy bankroll so that you can enjoy Albion and all the content it has to offer. So there you go, guys. I hope you found these tips quite useful, and hopefully this saves you a bit of money in the future. If you've got any other money saving tips, feel free to drop them in the comments and they might even feature in the next video. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.